Welcome to The Explainer. Think about the phone in your pocket, the coffee you might be drinking, even the news on your feed. They're all products of globalization. It's this huge force that promised to shrink our world into one single village. But the big question is, did it actually bring us closer together, or did it just build new kinds of walls between us? I mean, just look at that difference. It's staggering, isn't it? Going from weeks to mere seconds. We didn't just get faster, our entire sense of reality, of distance, it just shifted. So how on earth did we pull off this incredible feat? And maybe more importantly, what did we lose along the way? Well, it all kicked off with what historians call the Great Acceleration. And this wasn't just one single event. Nope, it was more like a cascade of changes, a domino effect in how many of us there were, how we all connected, and crucially, how we started treating the planet itself. Okay, first things first, people. The number of human beings on Earth just exploded. It quadrupled. All of a sudden, there was this massive, unprecedented demand for absolutely everything. Food, energy, you name it. We had to figure out how to feed and power a world on a scale that nobody had ever imagined before. And at the very same time, technology was just demolishing distance. You had radio, then television, and then, of course, the internet. These things didn't just connect us, they plunged us all into this shared global conversation. This created a lot of shared understanding, sure, but also brand new battlegrounds for ideas. This is the very infrastructure that lets millions of people cross oceans every single day. So to feed this booming population, science kind of offered up a miracle. It was called the Green Revolution. Guys like Norman Borlaug used new seeds, fertilizers, and all this new tech to produce way more food than anyone thought was possible. It honestly averted a global famine. It was an absolute triumph of human ingenuity. But, every miracle seems to come with a price tag. This amazing solution to one massive crisis, well, it inadvertently planted the seeds for several new ones. It was a kind of deal with the devil that we're still grappling with today. And here's the paradox, right? While we were producing more food than ever before, the very tools that made it happen created a whole new set of problems. Small farmers couldn't keep up and got pushed out, machines made traditional jobs just disappear, and the environmental cost, that started to really add up. We solved the problem of how much food we had, but we created new problems of inequality and sustainability. And we see this exact same pattern playing out in medicine. You get a miracle drug like penicillin that saves millions of lives from infections that used to be a death sentence. But its very success leads to overuse, and that creates an even scarier threat, these antibiotic-resistant superbugs. Progress and peril, walking hand in hand. Now, this pattern of a breakthrough followed by a backlash, that wasn't just happening in science. It came to define our new global economy. The same technologies that connected all of us were now being used to build one single global marketplace, a system that could create unbelievable wealth and, at the exact same time, unbelievable exploitation. So, in the late 20th century, this one really powerful idea started to sweep the globe: free markets with as little government control as possible. From the US and the UK to Pinochet's Chile and even communist China, countries started opening up their economies. This all led to the creation of the World Trade Organization, a body designed to be the referee for this new borderless marketplace. And wow, the success stories were stunning. The Asian tigers, as they were called, they harnessed this new system to achieve this breakneck industrialization, pulling millions of their people out of poverty and completely transforming their economies in just a single generation. But there's always a but, isn't there? This race for cheaper and cheaper labor had a devastating human cost. And nowhere was this clearer than the Rana Plaza factory collapse in Bangladesh. This quote from Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus just captures the horror of it. It wasn't an accident, he said. It was a failure of the entire system. Now, you have to remember, this intense new connection didn't just move goods and money around the planet. It moved ideas, art, and values at lightning speed. And that, of course, led to this profound mixing and sometimes clashing of cultures and beliefs on a truly global scale. So you'd think this would just be American culture taking over everything, right? Well, not exactly. While American culture definitely became a dominant force, it wasn't a monologue. It was a conversation. Bollywood, anime, reggae, K-pop, these weren't just niche interests anymore. They became global phenomena, creating a shared popular culture we'd never seen before. And it wasn't just movies and music crossing borders. It was really powerful ideas, like the concept of universal rights. Just look at this timeline of women's suffrage. It shows you it wasn't one single event. It was this slow, staggered, and ongoing global struggle where each victory helped inspire the next one. And that same spirit fueled these powerful movements against racial injustice. Now, the contexts were really different, but the struggle against apartheid in South Africa and the fight for civil rights in the United States, they became part of the same global conversation about what equality and human dignity should really mean. But, as you can probably guess, not everyone was celebrating all this. A powerful resistance started to emerge. People saw the exploitation, the environmental damage, the loss of local culture, and they started to argue that this whole model of interconnectedness was actually doing more harm than good. And this resistance really started to focus on problems that were themselves global, problems that didn't respect borders and that no single nation could ever hope to solve on its own. It turns out, a connected world meant connected crises. And at the top of that list, of course, is climate change. The very industrialization that fueled this global system created a crisis that now pits nations against each other. It's a huge debate. Who should pay to fix it? The developed nations who basically started the fire, or the developing nations who are now adding fuel to it? And for all our incredible medical miracles, diseases of poverty remain a global shame. Think about it. In a world of instant communication and overnight shipping, hundreds of thousands of people still die from preventable illnesses. It's a pretty stark reminder that the benefits of globalization have definitely not been shared equally. So how do you even begin to solve problems that don't have borders? Well, humanity's most ambitious answer was this: the United Nations. It was born from the rubble of World War, and its whole goal was to be a place where nations could cooperate on peace, human rights, and all these massive shared challenges we've been talking about. It was a really bold and maybe even flawed experiment in global governance. And so that leaves us with the fundamental dilemma of our age. Globalization gave us a connected world, for better and for worse. Our fates are now undeniably tied together. The question is no longer if we're a global village, but what kind of villagers we're going to be.